Sandra here from Create in Spain. If you're anything like me, you possibly want to use your laser for doing print and cut. Now, XCS sadly does not have a direct print button, so whatever you create in XCS, you have to export as an SVG to print it. So consequently, I tend to do most of my designing in shortcuts a lot. You can use whatever software you feel comfortable with. If you want to do it in XCS, then you don't have a problem with that, that's fine. So to do a print and cut, normally we rely, when we have plotters, on registration marks. And the snag I have found with my S1 is that I could send the laser to a specific point, but I can't send the laser to a specific point. That is the problem. I can send the design to a specific point, but I can't send the laser directly to that point. There is a fraction, a tiny little fraction off. So if I want to do it under normal circumstances, I have to do a little calculation before I can do a realistically accurate print and cut, which is a bit of a pain. So I've been trying to think of ways around it. So this is something that I would probably want to print and cut. And I don't know if you can see on screen, but I have 4 dots in each corner. Now, when I select everything here, I have a particular size for this print and cut. It's 28.5 centimeters by 20. This is because I'm on A4. You can do yours whatever size you like. The important thing is the position of these dots and the size of them. You want to make them 0.5 millimeter in diameter. So very tiny, hence why they're quite difficult to see on here. But there is a reason for the tiny size. It's for accuracy. The smaller these dots are, the more accurate it's going to be. So I made a rectangle and I aligned my dots with the 4 corners of the rectangle and then just deleted the rectangle. So that's the easy way of doing it. And you can save those registration marks so that you've got them for whatever designs you want to do. You can just put your design in, do your tracing, whatever it is you're going to do, and then you export the SVG. So I would select all of this, go to File, go to Export, and I'll just put BBB SVG on my desktop, save it. 72 dpi is more or less the right size, but it is ever so slightly out. I already know that. And just click on the save and it will save it for me. Ignore this for the moment. So now I want to import my design. Here it is. And open it up. And you can see I have these little dots on here still. So all you do with that from the software you design it in, you send it to the printer. But when it comes in here, you want to check the size. Now do measure what size your printer is printing. If you've got margins set, sometimes that can cause a problem, or borderless printing can cause a problem. Just check that it's the size that you think it is. Now mine should be 285 and it's coming up as 285.06. So I'm just going to put 285 in there, and that automatically makes that one 200, which again is the correct measurement for me. You do you, I'll do me. So I know now that my lines, my images, everything like that lines up. What I don't know is where to put it on my machine. That is the problem, but I don't have to worry about that anymore. Right, let's move this out of the way at the moment and concentrate on this. You're thinking, what on earth have you done? What I did was I cut out a piece of wood, like so, and that piece of wood has got 2.5 mil dots cut, and they measure between them 285 millimeters. Basically copied from this file onto there, and yeah, they are the same width apart, and this is why you want the very small little dots, because that makes it more accurate for you. So you want to make sure that you can fit your paper up here, and it's not going to be an issue, that it's going to be roughly in the right place. Now this piece of wood that I cut out, I cut it out from just a scrap piece of wood, and I put the 2 dots in. And what you want to do is to make sure that this piece of wood, when it's finished, is placed right at the back of your machine, not the back of the honeycomb, the back right corner, as far as you can physically put it. And make sure that when you've done that, your little dots are in the right place for you to be able to put your paper in place. Now, the important bit is the position of the 2 dots, because those 2 dots there are the same position, or should be the same position, shall we say, as this dot here and this dot here, because they have the identical gap between the 2 of them. And this one is positioned on the x-axis 175 and the y-axis of 55. Now I've not got this set to any output because I do not want to cut it. I would take this little lot here and put in 175 and 55. So that's put those 2 dots directly over the other ones. So your wood is being cut out so that if it's positioned against the back wall and the right corner, those dots are in the same position as these dots are going to be. So that's what you need to have. That's why this is that deep. It's so I can actually bring my print forward a little bit. I don't want it right at the very back of the machine. I want it forward a little bit. So my design is at 175 and 55, and my little pinprick holes are at 175, 55. This means I can line them up, and I will show you now how I do that physically. So this is my piece of wood, and I've labelled it left and right, and I've actually put my coordinates with the hole, because the only coordinate you actually need is the left one, for 175 and 55. There's no other coordinate that you actually need. And then all I've done is I've put a push pin through the hole. Now the push pin is great because it's quite stiff metal, but it's not really, really long. And then what you do when you've got your design printed, take a little bit of foam or something and a sharp, not that one, this one here is my pokey tool, and you just poke a hole through that printed dot, because you print it with a dot on it. So it has 4 dots printed. Make sure you're lining up the correct way, because you don't want it on your software one direction and you'll print the other way. But you simply do that and that through the 2 dots that you've got. Make sure it's the correct way, and then you simply place it over your pins. So you put this to the back of your machine, to the back right hand side, as I said, as far as it will go. And then those holes are in the right place, and if those holes are in the right place, then the printed holes are in the right place. And if your software is lining up your design with those printed holes, then everything's going to line up properly. So you put it onto your bed, and you put magnets on this to keep it down, and then you simply take that away and do your cutting. And that way you can do print and cut of whatever it is that you want to do on your laser. And that is a really great thing to be able to do, because they're accurate machines and they cut things easily, and I like not having to have a sticky mat. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Take care now.